Hello and welcome to the Best Song 4, where I put James's music curation skills to the test.
We are coming to you from Startle Music. We're both called James, and as head of content, it's my job to curate perfect playlists for our customers.
And today I am James's customer.
So James will challenge me to come up with the best song for a given situation. What's today's challenge?
So, big breath for this one already. I would like the best song for Pigeon, Telly.
I'm going to need some clarification.
So there's a fair bit to say before you probably understand what on earth I'm talking about. So
okay, get comfortable.
Yeah, buckle up. Here we go.
Ready.
Okay, so most people tend to know that like film footage that humans watch is about 24 frames per second is like the normal thing. You know, general public tend to know that, which obviously means 24 still images played over 1 second looks like moving images. Okay. So the interesting thing with pigeons and a lot of birds for that matter is that their visual perception needs to be much quicker to survive and to dot around things and to do well in life. I don't know. See things.
To do well in life, yeah. Okay.
So given that, if they were to watch telly, human telly, it would not look like moving images as we perceive it to be. It would look like still images, like a slideshow. So for them, it's really dull, okay? So that's the kind of base concept. I want to give you a bit more information, okay? There's a great book called The Mind is Flat by Nick Chater. And he talks about our perception and he outlines 3 things, which I think will be helpful. So the first thing is that the way we think of our perception is actually mostly wrong or at least flawed because we think it's this kind of like perfect working machine when actually there's a lot of errors in what we perceive and the way that we perceive. The second thing is that we perceive in chunks or pieces rather than the whole. Actually, the cover is a really good example of that. So it's one of those sort of visual things. And even though this doesn't make any sense, you look at it and it feels like it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And the reason being because you kind of perceive this bit and go, yep, that makes sense. And you perceive this bit and go, yep, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So you're seeing the pieces and go, yep, I understand that. Oh, I can make that in my head, but obviously in the real world, it couldn't exist. So this exemplifies that idea that we see in pieces rather than in wholes. And it's the same thing with telly, you know, what we're seeing are still images. What we're perceiving is moving image.
Okay.
The third thing that he says is that on top of that, we're also very good at pretending that we're perceiving everything very well. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword that not only are we like not perceiving as we think and we're perceiving in chunks rather than wholes, even though we think we're perceiving in wholes, we also are good at pretending that we're just getting everything and it's just not true.
Okay. So
that's the kind of... So,
we know nothing, basically. That's a lovely positive message from the book.
Well, so the full title actually is The Illusion of Mental Depth and the Improvised Mind. I highly recommend the book. It's very, very interesting, but it throws in a different narrative to the way that we perceive the brain, rather than it being this amazing machine that can do all this stuff, that actually it's very one level and it's very truncated and broken. So that's like the human side. And obviously the pigeon side, which is what I'm asking you about, is that they would see TV, human TV, as still images, but they want to see moving images. So we're going to show them more frames per second, but what music goes with it? So if we're going to put together a music telly, what's the music? What's the track? Where do we go?
I think this is my most difficult question to date. Just an FYI. So let me think. Okay, so immediately I'm thinking, right, pigeons are seeing things much more quickly, let's say. So if they see a quick song, it's going to feel probably normal pitch to us, or not, normal speed to us. So maybe some German techno, some really aggressive high BPMs, that creates that kind of, oh my goodness, this is really, really fast moving. And then that would just feel like a normal song really to a pigeon.
Because it's coming at them really fast, but they're sort of seeing the gaps that we don't see. So it's the same as like slowing music, isn't it? And it just you sort of see the gaps of it.
Yeah, exactly. So then I thought, okay, when you slow something down, you're stretching the sound wave and you're reducing the pitch. And then I thought, interesting. Who has a high voice? Interesting. Who's one of my favourite singers? Interesting. Also, quick side note, there's a trend that kind of developed over the past couple of years of slowing down songs and adding reverb. It just creates this sort of vibey, for want of a better word, feel to the track. The singer sounds like they have a much lower voice than they actually do. The song is slower. The rhythms, if they were particularly quick or complex, they're a little bit more digestible because it's slower. You can keep on top of it. So, are you ready for my song?
I am. I'm very intrigued. So I thought you were going to go sort of fast and jagged, but you're going completely the other way. So I'm interested.
So my song is "We Belong Together" by Mariah Carey.
Hey!
But it's the slow and reverbed version. So this is really how a pigeon would hear it.
Right.
So of course, hugely famous singer, known for quick vocal runs. So that's moving through a fast sequence of notes. Obviously known for this incredibly high whistle tone register, which so when a pigeon would listen to that, it's going to naturally reduce the wavelength and seem like a normal pitch, like our speaking pitch or that of a normal singer. Basically, it just normalizes Mariah Carey's superhuman talent. But so the altered version is one of our biggest hits. It's about 140 beats per minute originally, so it's obviously much slower to the pigeon. It's super quick lyrically as well and rhythmically, typically in the verses as well. But this is just going to sound like a nice gentle ballad for a pigeon from a vocally talented person. In fact, a vocally talented gentleman, because it's going to be much lower as well.
So actually, you're really bringing Mariah Carey to the pigeon masses.
Oh, and that has really been my raison d'etre, to be honest. That is the reason I'm here today, is to bring Mariah Carey to every man, woman, child, and animal on this planet. And like, people who don't know me will be like, that's kind of weird. People who know me will be like, yeah, that's probably right.
Amazing. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and make our pigeon TV, and what we're going to do is we're going to put on some slow Mariah Carey. That is James's recommendation for the best song for Pigeon Telly. Go ahead and listen, all pigeons out there listening. Go ahead and listen to some Mariah Carey. Slow down, and you can reach those high notes because they're now just moderately high notes.
They're accessible to you. We're making the inaccessible accessible.
Amazing. Thank you.